Beryl is the first hurricane of the Atlantic season.
We're about 15 miles away from our first potential anchorage. We honestly have no idea if it's going to be so packed or if it's even going to be safe.
It is already the earliest storm of its strength on record.
Because it's a known hurricane hole, everybody is probably in there.
It's also the first Category 4 hurricane ever recorded in June.
I don't like this.
I'll come back for you, Jetty. Jetty wants to get off the boat so bad, but before we do that, I gotta go check us in, clear us in to Guadeloupe. First, we gotta find out where that's done, which I think I have an idea. It's in this like shipping container harbor office. And then we gotta navigate French words on the clearance papers. And then hopefully we pay €5 and hopefully we're cleared in. So here we go. Is this where I come for clearance? Yes. All right.
Non, mais 60 € pour être rentré pour pêche de temps en temps, c'est beaucoup.
All right, I'm all checked in, except I don't have €5 cash, which up until now, all other countries we've been to have taken US dollars, but I gotta go to the bank and get euros because they don't take any US dollars or a card or anything like that. So pretty here. All right, I got the cash, €5, and I even stopped at the bakery back there and got Sierra and I a little snack. So we got a couple croissants and a little quiche. €5?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci.
Oui, oui. We've been checking the weather multiple times the last few days, and at first this storm looked like it was going directly to Grenada right when we needed to be there. So we kind of just like paused in Guadeloupe. So now Billy's sending an email to insurance, typing away, to see if we can set up like a relocate plan, because right now if we are planning on making the deadline to Grenada, it's putting us not in the best weather window to get there and to potentially have that storm go to Grenada anyways. So right now we're just all in limbo trying to figure out if we wait, if we go, are we going just overnight and not island hopping to get there so we do get there in time. Weather, man, weather, hurricane season.
So I just emailed insurance and I said, it looks like Grenada is in the direct path of this storm possibly. Is there an option to still have full coverage, you know, for a certain amount of time, a few extra days or a week, and we just stay well north, like in Guadeloupe, to stay out of the storm's path and just limit risk? Hopefully by like today or tomorrow morning we have an answer. Because by tomorrow morning, we really need to make a decision. We kind of really got to book it down to Grenada, or at that point, we kind of got to stay here. And like, by sometime tomorrow, like our decision is kind of final. Like whether we can cross the path of the storm and get south, or stay north, stay in Guadeloupe. We could go a little bit further north. But the hard part is like, the possible outcomes are, insurance says yes, we agree, the path of the storm looks like it's heading right to Grenada. You guys can stay north in Guadeloupe until whenever, like a few days after the storm or whatever, and then we can just put it down there, fine. That's probably the best case scenario if the storm is heading straight for Grenada. Otherwise, the storm's heading straight for Grenada. We're not covered by any sort of wind damage if we're north of Grenada, but we also don't want to put ourselves in the storm's path even though we will be covered. So it's like a risk on our part. We could stay in Guadeloupe and play it safer, but there's a chance that that storm turns north and smashes Guadeloupe, and like we're right in the path. And then in that scenario, we are not covered. from storm damage. So like, such a risk at that point. So hopefully they come back and they agree with us, and we can just mitigate the risk by being north. So right now we're just going to the south side of Guadeloupe. We're going to Les Saints, actually. We've been there before. Just a small set of islands that's part of Guadeloupe. Cool little spot. We're gonna check it out, probably do some more research and see what the forecast is tomorrow morning and make our decision and see if we get an email from insurance. Today's today, Friday?
Today is Friday. Our storm's coming Monday.
3 days. It's Friday, storm's coming Monday.
And right now, we have to make a decision whether we're going and doing 3-day hops, about 70 miles a day to get to Grenada in time, or staying here.
And we still have more options than that. Like, we could easily just go overnight, you know, because we could be there in, how many miles is it? 225 or something? I mean, we could be there in less than 2 days. We are crossing the path of exactly where it's forecasted to be, which is like somewhere around St. Vincent, St. Lucia. So we have to cross in front of the path of the hurricane a day or two beforehand.
But storms
still,
speed up, storms slow down, storms do weird, crazy things.
we're still waiting on an answer from insurance. We got an answer from our broker right away, and he passed it along to the underwriters to see if there is an option to stay north out of harm's way and still be covered. This is why I think insurance is so silly. Like, we should just, because if we didn't have insurance, we'd be more free to make the safest decision. Now we have this extra factor of like, all right,
Turn
like
straight
what
north.
if we stay and then it turns north
And it develops into a category 1 right in front of us, and a boat drags and we can't do anything about it, and it wrecks the boat.
and we have no insurance coverage on that.
And because there are so few anchorage, relatively protected anchorage options around here, when that storm comes, there's going to be so many boats in such a little area. So like, you don't have to just depend on yourself, you have to pay attention to all the other people around you, which is very stressful.
Or we could do what insurance wants us to do and shoot for Grenada, but then what if this storm shifts? It's only got to shift just slightly south on its path, or grow, and then like Grenada's at risk, but we're covered by insurance.
Yeah, I think it's very rare that the storm shifts south in this area. However, it's not very rare that they grow. If they grow, then we're in trouble. Okay, we just got an email back from our insurance broker, and they are willing to extend us to be in Guadeloupe until July 20th. However, we still don't know if that's the best case, and it's going to cost another $350 in order to get that extension.
Which is fine if we were absolutely sure that this is the right place to stay, but we still
don't know
aren't.
if the storm's going to come this way. We still don't know. Yeah, there's still lots of unknowns.
I think it's, the track is pretty defined. It has been for the past 2 days.
Hurricanes move at last minutes all the time.
I'm just saying the best that I can say. Yes, they do. But the best that we can say now is the track has been defined for the past 2 days. Like you've said, if it's going to change tracks, they generally tend to go north.
I definitely agree with that.
So that's why I think going to Grenada still is our best decision.
Can we outrun it? That is the question.
So we're up in here. We're here in Guadeloupe. And we got to get down here to St. George, to Grenada, rather. And we're just, for now, we'll just do day hops. So we'll hop to Martinique here, and then we'll hop to St. Vincent probably, and then we'll hop to Grenada. But at any time, if we have to, we'll just speed that up. We'll just do an overnight, and I mean, either way, we'll get to Grenada pretty quick. But the risk is, so this is, let's see, here's Sunday. So here comes a storm, and we're going to be sailing across here. And we just got to make sure we're there by, that's still Sunday evening, which that's when we'll already be in Grenada by then. But then here it comes on Monday, which is straight for between St. Vincent and St. Lucia over there. So that's what we mean when we're saying we're sailing in front of this storm's path. All right, let's check out and get a move on, I guess. Bonjour. Parlez-vous anglais? Do you know, is there a place to put trash? Yeah. I'll ask LSM. Merci. Parlez-vous anglais? Okay. A little. To clear out? To check out?
Yeah, check out.
Okay.
Check-in, check-out from the center.
One more time?
Check-in, check-out from
Okay.
the center.
Okay. Merci.
There you go.
All right, we're just heading out of Les Saints, which is this small group of islands off of Guadeloupe. If you guys don't know, Guadeloupe is a French Caribbean island, along with like Martinique and half of St. Martin are also French Caribbean islands. St. Bart's might be a French Caribbean island, I'm not sure. From Guadeloupe here, we have the next island, Dominica. A lot of people call it Dominica. I believe it's pronounced Dominica. And then after that is Martinique, and then St. Lucia, and then St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and then Grenada. So those are all the countries, and there's a lot of little islands with some of those within some of those countries. So all these islands are about, well, at least the coming islands are about 20 to 30 miles long, and then we have about 15 to 20 miles of channel between each of the islands. It's kind of funny sailing because these are all tall Caribbean islands. So like in the channels, we have plenty of wind. Definitely gets a little rough, a little sporty when the wind is up. But then once you get in the lee of the island, because they're so tall, you really lose the wind, or the wind just does really funky things. So you can't really sail directly in the lee of the islands. You have to go either on the windward side, which is rougher. You're on like a lee shore. So if you want to sail, you can do that. Or you can go way down to the lee of these islands. So like 10 plus miles leeward of the islands, and then you could get a little bit cleaner wind and actually be able to sail. Or you can do what we're probably going to do, which is just stay in the lee of these islands and just like kind of motor sail and just stay in really calm water. That works anyway, because again, we're still going to be doing day hops at this point, so we're going to be anchoring in the lee of these islands anyway, so it only makes sense to kind of do it that way. All right, we're in the channel between Guadeloupe and Dominica, and we got 15 to 20 knots true wind right now. Nice seas, and we're cruising. We're doing 8 to 9 knots. Wow.
I was just telling Billy, normally like I would not feel super great right now, partially because I just never feel great, but also because like when you know you're heading away from land, there's just this little bit of fear that kind of eats away at me. I don't know about you. But in the Eastern Caribbean, you can pretty much always see at least the next island. So like, yeah, we're heading off right now to like do a pretty big trip, 100 miles. But we can see Dominica right in front of us, like a giant mountain. So I love that. And it's also hilarious that we can see on AIS and we can see around us, there's like 4 cats and monohulls heading south. But on AIS, we also see like 3 boats coming north. So it looks like people are doing 50-50. Running that, running this way.
Here's a big old cat next to us. AIS says it's worth the wait is the name of the cat, and on AIS it doesn't have their size, but it looks like a big old little fly bridge, maybe a lagoon. We all know that when 2 sailboats are going in the same direction, it's a race. So the race is officially on.
How big is that?
we win. Well, not yet. No, they headed up for some. I think they furled or unfurled their head sail a little more, whatever it was. There's a rainbow.
What?
There's a rainbow.
Where?
Take your glasses off.
Oh wow. It's funny, it completely hides it.
All right, we're on the leeward side. Those of you guys who don't know, leeward side or leeward side is the side that the wind is not hitting. So the windward side is the side of the island or the side of the thing that the wind is hitting, and the leeward side or the leeward side is the opposite side. So generally the calm side. So we're in the leeward side of on the leeward side of Dominica right now, just motoring along. We took the jib in because it is the calm side. And the wind's doing a bunch of funky things because of all those tall mountains and everything. So it's going to like 0 wind, and then it's coming from that direction, then that direction, a lot, and very quickly. So we're just kind of motor sailing with the main up, jibs in. We got a few more miles to go to the end of Dominica. Then we'll be sailing fully again. We'll turn the engine off, we'll get the jib out. For now, we're just in the lee. There's our wind line right there. So as soon as we hit that wind line, we'll have some consistent breeze and we'll be able to sail again. All right, it's what time is it? It's only like 9:15 p.m. but we're pulling into Martinique right now. We're just gonna stop and rest for a few hours, get some sleep, wake up super early, and get a move on again. So good sailing today, quick rest, and we'll be on the move again shortly. Make some dinner first.
Okay, good morning. We got like 5 hours of sleep last night. It's like 5:10 and we're off. We have about 165 miles to go until we're on like the side of Grenada where we can find a little bay up there. Unfortunately, I have a feeling it's going to be pretty squally today, which is a bummer, but hopefully nothing too bad, and hopefully everything just stays far away from us. Don't want to deal with lightning today, don't want to deal with a hurricane on Monday. Now they are saying that they're predicting it to be up to a category 3, which is just lovely, and that it's still aiming right for like St. Vincent, St. Lucia. Luckily it doesn't show it being big enough where it's still super affecting Grenada, so cross your fingers that stays the case, because that would be wonderful if we can just make it there and then get tucked in but have nothing actually come. That's what we're looking for. And there's also now a numbered storm right behind it. So we have Beryl, who is officially named, and we have a little buddy behind Beryl about 2 days later. Hurricane season is upon us. How you feeling?
Good. I'm just gonna get some more sleep while you take the first shift.
It's raining, although I will take the rain over lightning all day long today. Okay, usually like 99.9% of the time we help each other like get the mainsail up and take turns with it and all that stuff, but Billy is not a morning person and I was wide awake, so he went right back to sleep. I did everything by myself, deciding that there was enough wind to turning the engines off, to raising the mainsail and pulling out the ship. Although I don't know if I didn't pull it up quite enough or if I need to pull the outhaul in, but like using the electric winch, when it gives you like a lot of tension, it scares me, and I know that they can break stuff, so I always err on the side of not in enough, so I think that's what it was. But we're moving at a solid 6.5 to 7 knots. Billy's still sleeping, and these birds are giving me a show.
Et ensuite, entre l'avant-dernière rouge et peut-être la...
No idea what they're saying, but there's this little brown booby bird that is using the boat to scare the flying fish and then diving so deep and coming up with the fish each time. It's really cool to watch.
We saw a little rain squall coming through, so we threw in. We went all the way down to the third reef just in case. It's just passing now. Wind only got up to like 25 knots, so good thing we had that third reef in, but definitely nothing too crazy.
Can't tell you guys how many times we've reefed and unreefed and put in 2 reefs and taken them out and put them back in and taken them out, and now it's pouring rain and the storms keep coming and I'm very stressed.
Get Jetty so she
Jetty, come. Come on. Please put a life jacket on. And these are the days where I question all of our life decisions.
last night was fine. Wasn't rough or anything, but we probably did about 100 sail changes. Furled in the jib, unfurled the jib, put in a reef, put in 2 reefs, take out all the reefs, put in all the reefs, drop the whole sail. Nothing like too crazy, but just little mini squall after little mini squall, and we had to put in and shake out like 1,000,000 reefs because we're trying to keep our speed up like to at least a decent amount to be able to get to Grenada where we're at now early enough to kind of get ready for the storm. This storm is pretty dang serious. As of right this second, it's supposed to hit Carriacou, which is the island just north of Grenada basically. So like a lot of Grenada's gonna get some strong winds, and the southern bays that we're gonna be in, one of the southern bay, is supposed to get like 20, 30 knots of wind or so. At this point, not supposed to be any stronger than that. We have a good spot I think we're gonna go to.
We're about 15 miles away from our first potential anchorage. We honestly have no idea if it's going to be so packed that it's not even going to be safe. But our number one option is, it's called like Port Egmont Harbor, and it's protected like 360 degrees. It's a known hurricane hole, but because it's a known hurricane hole, everybody is probably in there. We can see on marine traffic that tons and tons of boats left last night and this morning to go to Trinidad. We've been thinking whether or not we should also just keep going. It's less than 24 hours from when the storm's supposed to hit, so like going offshore 70 miles, less than 24 hours before a storm just doesn't, I don't like that, because Trinidad is still in a hurricane watch. And from the research I've been doing, it says there's wind, and it says there's going to be wind the rest of the day. However, when a storm this big is out there, it kind of like sucks up that wind and like brings it into itself. So we could be out there. We only have 38% fuel left, and as you guys saw from last week, we ran out of fuel, so I already have that fear. And then if there's no wind, then we're just a sitting duck out there. I don't like that at all. So we're gonna go check out Egmont first, then we have 2 other backup plans. We're in the cone, but the strongest winds are not going over us. If that changes and it's still meant to hit as a category 3, we won't stay on the boat. I think we'll get a hotel. So I've been trying to call them now to see who's like dog friendly. I'm stressing. I don't like this. Could we say we should have stayed in Guadeloupe? Maybe, but we never would have known. It could have gone straight to Guadeloupe too. So not upset that we made this decision, just upset we're in this situation. I don't like to mess with hurricanes.
First this noon, Hurricane Beryl is bearing down right now on the Grenadines. It's the first Category 4 storm of this season.
Beryl is the first hurricane of the Atlantic season, but is already the earliest storm of its strength on record.
150-mile-per-hour winds.
We have watches and warnings with a hurricane watch in effect for Barbados, with Grenada included in that hurricane warning.
It's also the first Category 4 hurricane ever recorded in June.
A lot of boats headed for Trinidad still from here. I don't know, in our minds, I think we're pushing it a little bit at this point in time to head another 85 miles. So I don't think we're going to. So we're just heading around the south side of Grenada, about to turn left and come into Egmont Harbor here. We know that there's a lot of boats in there already, so we're a little bit concerned that it's going to be too crowded for us to fit, but also for safety. We have some friends who are in there already, and they're kind of giving us the rundown, letting us know that there is some more space for us, but to hurry up because it's filling up quick. So we're about to head in. Hopefully there's still a spot for us, and if not, I do have a couple backups. We might get into this spot. Maybe I take the dinghy out and check out my backup spots anyway, because they might actually be better spots. We just don't want to risk going there and then losing our space in Egmont. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Just motoring straight into the wind right now, and as you can see, it's not the calmest out here. Woo. In high-stress situations like this, I think it is really important to stay calm, evaluate all of the factors, make a plan, and enact the plan. I think it's important to periodically revisit and revise the plan, especially as factors change, and I think we did a pretty good job of this with the information we had on hand as Beryl approached.
Okay guys, Billy is off in the mangroves tying our stern lines to them, and I am helping him when he needs it to attach to the boat or whatever, but also putting away like all of our fishing poles, our surfboards, even our like life rings that are on the side of the boat, so we can't have anything on deck. And then once we're done with that, we have another anchor we're gonna put off the front, and after we do that, we're gonna take down all the sails.
After living and cruising on all sorts of boats for the past 10 years, we've been through a bunch of wild situations. Climbing through these mangroves, I kept thinking about the Pacific Northwest, rock climbing through dense trees on the side of steep cliffs to find a good spot for a stern tie on mountain mist. We have that we can tie to. I don't want to tie to the bridge because I think I might get in trouble for that. But there's a bunch of palm trees. There's a big old root back there. That's what we're going to tie to. We haven't been through this exact situation before, but we take what we know and we add to it. Like figuring out how to run 2 anchors through 1 bridle off the bow. All we can do now is wait and know that we're as ready as we can be.
Okay guys, I have no idea what time it is. It's gotta be like 9 or 10. Everything on the deck is put away. Sails are down, mainsail's tied up as best it can be. Surfboards, fishing poles, all inside. Anything on the deck, in. 3 lines out the back. I think we're gonna add 1 more tomorrow morning just in case. 2 anchors out the front. We are as prepared as we can possibly be in the safest anchorage in Grenada. Beryl is currently a Category 4. It is the first ever Category 4 hurricane in June, and I think it's the first ever hurricane to hit this area in June, so that's wild. Emily and Cole are right by us. They just called and said their bilge pump's going off and they don't know what's going on, so Billy just went over there to help them. They were so kind and they brought us dinner. Amazing. So grateful. If you haven't been able to tell, I've been pretty stressed the last few days. We are not last minute people, and this turned into like a very last minute thing with like, you know, big Category 4 consequences with a million decisions we had to make, where every little tiny decision impacts like so many things. So it's been stressful, but we're all good. Latest track, yes, it is Category 4, but it looks like it's moving a tiny bit north of us. I don't want to wish it to go north because we have lots of friends north right now too. Crossing our fingers that everyone is okay. I'm making a little grab bag right now just in case. The plan right now is to stay on the boat. There are some shelters that are like a 15-minute walk. However, Billy, my dad, my brother-in-law are all seasoned boat people, Florida people, been through many hurricanes, and the best spot I think we can be is on the boat. A lot of you aren't going to like that. However, that's the decision we have made, so we are going to be on here. If we need to change our mind last minute, we can, but for right now, that is the plan. So I'm just making a grab bag just in case we got to run off the boat. Jetty's meds, water, her food, our boat documents, passports, computers, hard drives, just so we have everything in one waterproof bag if we need to get out of here. It's all together already. We don't even have to think about it. And that's my last duty for the night. We felt so gross the past couple days. So I've spent the last hour like cleaning the inside of the boat because a clean home just makes you feel so good. So I'm gonna do this grab bag, put clean sheets on our bed. Hopefully Billy will be done by then, and then we can get some much needed sleep and be ready for whatever the heck Beryl brings tomorrow. Yes, we are the kind of people that packs their go bag for their dog before anything else. Okay guys, prepping our go bag in case we need it. We have 2 outfits for me, 2 outfits for Billy, food, her pills, water for her, snacks, water for us, our hard drives, very important, wallets, toothbrush, like deodorant and stuff, our tracker sat phone in case we lose power and internet and cell service, headlamps because you don't know, and all of our boat documents, passports, boat paperwork, and then we'll each have our own backpack with our computer. You think we're ready? And phone charger. Am I forgetting anything? She's loaded. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm like shaking. I was just taking a video for Instagram to like show the bands that are coming through and all the lightning, and I'm like going through the back and I see this thing in the water and it's a dog. I just scooped him up out of the water. Hi, baby. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry you were swimming. How long were you swimming? I wasn't wearing any clothes. I was like, Billy, give me your shirt. I need to go help this dog. He's gonna call on the radio. I think everyone in this Anchorage is on the same channel, so we're gonna put a call out, and she's got a caller, so hopefully we can find them, because I don't want her outside, but Jetty's not super great with other dogs. She doesn't know, especially on her boat. We'll put a call out right now, and hopefully we can find her home. Yeah, what's your name? What's your name, pretty girl? If you're stuck with us, you're gonna have to be called Beryl. We got dogs. We got birds. We still have a leak in our dinghy, so we're using our wing and paddleboard pump because our dinghy inflatable pump broke. We're adding more lines. Pardon me this morning. We just had 5 more boats this morning come into the Anchorage. Gosh, they came in this morning at like 5 a.m. We're breaking out our Pacific Northwest Dyneema line for one more on the other side of the bridge, just to prevent us from going this way, because at some point we are the first vessel, so if we drag, we're bringing everyone else with us. We contemplated putting it on the bridge, but I think we might get in a lot of trouble if something happens and we take the bridge down. Put it to a really thick one.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave this one pretty loose because this is just gonna be a simply, I don't know, like if all the tension builds up on this side and this anchor, this is just supposed to help a little. Like, this is not gonna hold the whole boat. It's pretty thin line. It is Dyneema, so it is strong line, but it has no flex and it's not that strong.
Like how strong?
I don't know what the breaking strength of it is a few thousand pounds.
Do we have enough to double it?
I don't know, you think?
Okay.
So I'll leave it pretty loose so that when all the tension does get taken up, then this will help with that tension. And we're gonna do a lot of cleat hitches because it's slippery line.
How thick was the mangrove trunk you put it on?
Probably about as thick as my thigh, and like pretty strong looking one.
You got strong thighs too.
So now we have one here all the way over there to our midship cleat, 3 off our stern, and then 1 off actually our forward cleat back to the mangroves. And then we have our 2 anchors out front. Cross your fingers. I'm gonna take Jay to the bathroom.
Okay, it just hit 30 knots and boats are already dragging. The guys that came in just this morning are moving spots. It looks like they're gonna come right next to us. Whew. Jetty is separated from our new friend who's down there being so sweet. Yeah, you are. There's a boat. I don't know what happened. I think they were a boat that tried to go to Trinidad. And I don't know if they lost their rig or their sails or their power or what or everything, but they're stuck out there and there's like a French warship like hailing them on the radio and
Sailing vessel, Exodus, sailing vessel, Exodus, this is North Coast Radio, North Coast Radio. Mayday relay, mayday relay, mayday relay. Vessel, Exodus, take it on water.
There's maydays going on and trying to get help for them, so I hope they're okay out there. Ooh, it's getting windy. We're starting to turn a little bit more downwind, and Billy just went out to put our last line that we had. He just went out to put our dinghy line. It's not the best line. It's literally the last thing we have. We have nothing else left. So he's tying that to like mangroves out in front of us, and they're still looking for that boat out there. So scary.
Right now, the eye of Beryl is right over Carriacou Island, just to the north of Grenada.
Okay, we have the dinghy line on. Billy just went to go try to see if these guys need help. I'm worried about him out there now because now it's like you can hear stuff like cracking in the distance. Like the wind is like these light posts and the power lines. The wind's gonna switch. So right now we're on our anchor that we don't, our backup anchor, which I don't trust as much. Our mantis is out on this side and the wind's coming from over here. So I don't like that all the pressure's on that, but we also have this Dyneema line that's out that's pretty much holding everything right now. And then the dinghy anchor line that he just put out. So when it switches again, I think I'll feel a little bit better because I know that anchor lets me sleep at night, but.
All right, you guys, gotta give you a quick update. So the wind started from this direction and everything went pretty good. Shifted a little more from this direction. This anchor that's out, we have 2 anchors out. One off in that corner of the boat and one off that corner of the boat. And they're both connected to the same bridle front of the boat, and this anchor started to drag a little bit in because I think it's like a really soft bottom, and we had it way out there, but it dragged a little bit, so we were kind of like bow of the boat was kind of shifting over just a little bit, but not a big deal. Definitely held enough where we didn't go back into the mangroves, and now the wind has already clocked, so now the wind's coming around from this direction, and now all our strain is on our mantis anchor with all chain rode out in that direction, and like this line that's going into the mangrove, and like probably our back line that's on a bridle as well, and this actually I have another forward line going to the mangrove as well. So far so good, but now that it has clocked, I think we're gonna get some strong winds, and we have a little bit more of a fetch on this side, so it can basically that wind can come across the whole lagoon. Other than that, we definitely had a little worry with these 3 charter boats came in late this morning, and one kind of crossed up. The adventure cruise is right up in front of us here, and one of them was kind of crossing up in their lines, and they had a lot of trouble getting secure, but they seem secure now. And then there's still another one out here that like they wanted to come like right across our whole anchor and everything, and I was just like, guys, no way, like you're gonna trip our anchor, like just it. But it's just, that's the biggest thing. Like in this kind of scenario, my biggest worry is other boats and then like some debris and stuff like that. Oh, still good. Wow, that's a big gust. I don't think our wind is reading proper speed, maybe because of the rain, because that was certainly those are some nice gusts there. Wow. So you can see the chop building up from the fetch across, coming across the lagoon here. Wow. Wow. So far, so good. Yeah, definitely starting to get some strong gusts through now. Don't know exactly. I mean, our wind is reading. Right?
Oh my gosh, look at it come.
Yeah, you can see it coming in just the sheets of the rain. Our wind is saying 33, 35 knots, but I think
there's no way.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more than that, I think, in reality.
Look at this one. Come on, man, this still comes down. There's a monohull out there just going in circles.
Yeah. They've been going out in circles for like an hour.
Hey, just for your information, there's quite a light line from that try, the dock behind.
Okay, we officially lost service. Our Starlink almost just got yanked off, but Billy got it in time. He's just out here adjusting more lines. The ones that were holding us off this side, we're now using them to hold us off the bridge. And we are getting some crazy strong gusts. I can't even imagine. There's like multiple monohulls out there just motoring around. Whew. And these people that came in this morning, like, thank goodness they made it here. The eye went right over Carriacou, and they had much stronger winds, I think, right in St. Vincent. So they made it here just in time. Okay, a lot of people are probably wondering why we stayed on the boat when we were in a direct path for Category 4 hurricane. Well, it only turned to Category 4 late last night, and we did decide that we looked at a whole bunch of options to potentially book a place for us to have a place to go. However, we're not in Florida. These buildings don't have the code that most of the buildings in Florida have. They probably do have a code, but we don't know what that code is. I looked at tons of Airbnbs. Do those Airbnbs have shutters? Are their windows hurricane proof? Is their roof new? We don't know any of that stuff. And there is a lot of potential for a lot of things to go really bad on land too. So we made a decision. A lot of people that we very much admire their opinions, and we decided that we were safer on the boat. If we were in a marina, that might have been a different situation. So far, so good. Can't regret anything. We just got to make a plan with the best information we have and stick with it, and that's what we're doing. I would like Billy to get inside now, though. Up here, and we have our little friend down here. We did figure out that she cannot use her back leg. Hi, sweetie. We used the method of like putting a towel under her belly and lifting her back legs up to get her down here. We have a bed in there for her. For some reason she prefers the floor. but we're gonna have to figure out a way to help her when this is over, get a vet to look at her. I think it's her back legs. I don't know, I see a little bit of blood, but I can't see where it's coming from, and she is super sweet, but Jetty and I have also been attacked by dogs, and I'm not saying she's gonna attack me, but if she's hurt and I try to touch somewhere where she's hurt, I don't want to get bit, and we don't want to start that, so we're just trying to make her as comfortable as we can for now until we can figure out another plan. But at first she seemed like she was in a lot of pain. I think she was cold. She was like, she didn't want to come inside, and I had her protected from the rain for a while, but then it started coming in and she still didn't want to come in, and I didn't know why, and she was like shaking. So we got her in using that towel because I realized it was her back leg, and now she's not shaking, she's calm, she's sleeping, she ate 2 bowls of food. So now it's just trying to figure out how to help her leg after this so we can see what's next for our little friend Beryl. It's 1 o'clock now, so we should only have another hour, 2 or 3 of this, hopefully, and then it's past us. It's all over. Everyone in our anchorage is okay. We just walked the dogs for a little bit and talked to a couple people. Everyone's doing good. We heard a couple boats sunk in Prickly Bay. We heard Carriacou is absolutely devastated. So sad to hear. We got so lucky because we only saw like 35 knots. Can you imagine over 120 mile per hour winds? No, like, but that's what they got. So so sad to think about. But we just talked to the guys that came over on the charter fleet, and they came over with nothing. They have no food, they have no money, they were just hired at the last minute to bring these boats down here, and a lot of the crew doesn't know wind, they don't know weather, they only had one, like a lot of these boats only had one anchor, like they were not prepared. And one of the guys was like zooming around the whole time trying to help everybody, and thank goodness he did, because if he didn't make sure that those 5 boats were secure, we all would have been taken out, which is insane. So he pretty much saved our entire anchorage, and we just saw them walking around. They were trying to find a restaurant because they have no food, so we have lots of food we can share, so I'm gonna make a bag for them. And I showed you that to-go bag yesterday. We did not need it, so we are going to pass along that snack bag wherever I just put it. Snack bag, we got some pasta for them, we got some rice and beans, and I'll throw in some cheese as long as I get it to them fast, and tortillas, so they'll have dinner and food tomorrow. So he took care of us, man, so we are gonna take care of him. Got some spaghetti, some pasta, some tuna, chicken salad, soup, beans, more soup.
All right, we're safe. Boat safe, everyone around us is safe. Good turnout for us, and
we are so lucky. Like, we just talked to some people and they got word from Carriacou, and it looks like Carriacou did not do well.
And if you guys aren't familiar, Carriacou it's a separate island, but it's part of the same country as Grenada, but it's a separate island just north of Grenada.
And our friends from the charter company who are from St. Vincent, they heard from St. Vincent, and St. Vincent is also not in a good spot.
At least the south side of St. Vincent, like Blue Lagoon area. We learned a lot, actually, and yeah, I think we should do a full-on debrief. So if you guys want to stay tuned, we'll do a debrief tomorrow, and we'll talk about what we learned, if we made any mistakes, what we would do differently next time, and yeah. So stay tuned. For right now, we're gonna have some dinner and go to bed. I'm tired.
So our patrons have our tracking link, and they tracked us all the way from Florida down here, but mainly from our last stretch, our very last stressful stretch. And we were just getting messages and emails and everything, cheering us on, and we're just so grateful to have this online community that's just our little online family. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys, everyone.
Yours was a little less sincere.
Alright, good night.
Okay guys, I knew this heartbreak was coming from the moment it started, but I've called the vet school, I've called the local SPCA, I've called all of our contacts here to get in contact with as many people as we can. I've posted on all the Facebook forums, and shared it and asked, and we've walked like tons of miles like around the neighborhood to see if our little friend is anybody's. We can't keep her on the boat with Jetty because Jetty's aggressive and we don't know her temperament, and we keep getting told time and time again from everyone we talk to, local dogs will find their way back home, just leave her, say goodbye, and walk away. We just had to say goodbye. Bye-bye. See you later. I hope you find your home. And she's been sitting on the dock across from the boat looking at us, and she did not like the dock at first. She was scared to walk on the dock, she was scared to get on the dinghy, and she even jumped on a dinghy at one point because I'm watching her to make sure she doesn't fall in the water. It's really sad, but we did everything we could do. We don't know what kind of stuff that dog has. She has really goopy eyes. I cleaned them for her this morning, but we can't have her around Jetty. Jetty's 11 at this point. We don't want Jetty to get sick, so my heart's broken. I really hope she knows where her home is and she just knows that we're suckers and give her food. So cross your fingers, because I'm sad. Okay guys, that was a long video. Thank you so much if you're still here. We just wanted to give you a couple little updates. First is on our hurricane puppy that we named Beryl. Well, that was a major roller coaster of emotions, trying to do everything we can for her and knowing that it still wasn't quite enough, but at the end of the day, it took like a week and so many people coming together, but she does have a home right now. She's no longer in the streets, so that is just amazing news. So yeah, we found out her name was Ruby. Her old owners are no longer her owners, but now she has a new home and we are so happy and grateful. Our next update is, I'm sure if you've been watching the news, you have seen the absolute complete devastation of the northern coast of Grenada, Carriacou, Petite Martinique, and so many of the Grenadine islands. We have put together a little fundraiser to try to help raise some money. We just came out with 2 new shirt designs. They're being done campaign style, so money never comes to us.
So we're doing this campaign through Bonfire again, just like we did in the past. All the money goes to Bonfire, and then the profits go directly to these 2 organizations, one of which directly benefits all of the animals on Carriacou.
Yep, so 100% of the profits for this specific t-shirt, you may recognize the model on the back, will be going to the one and only animal hospital on Carriacou. Their building was very badly destroyed, and they are the only one on the island, and they're in charge of providing like medical help for the animals, helping with rehoming, preventative medicine, and all that stuff. So,
and there's a lot of stray dogs on the island, so like I'm sure their job is just,
yeah, they have big
insane.
like spay and neuter programs that are put into place over there, and they work really hard, and it is a nonprofit. So we're so excited to help organize and get some money to them to help them get back up and running. And fundraiser number 2 is for Rise Grenada. We weren't able to get the shirts in time to show you in person, but the design came out amazing. 100% of those profits goes towards Rise Grenada, who was started by some of our friends. They have been working around the clock to raise money, to offer relief, to start rebuilding homes and businesses, and offer generators and chainsaws, and it's a huge team effort coming into play, and they are doing lots and lots of good, and we're so excited to try to help raise more money for them too. So if you're interested, you can also donate directly to either of these 2 causes,
or you could buy one of these t-shirts, and then the profits of those go directly towards the organizations as well.
So again, we were so fortunate, and we just want to be able to do whatever we can to try to help the people that were not. So if you can come together with us, we would so appreciate that.
Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming along. We're lucky. We know it. We're just thinking of the less fortunate who weren't so lucky. Hopefully with some of these organizations and the funds that are going into them, they can rebuild, and yeah.
And if you want to stay tuned next week, we did sit down and do a whole debrief of our thoughts and what we could have done, what we should have done, what we did right for the hurricane in general. So some of you might find that interesting if you're ever considering living on a boat or are in a hurricane zone. So stay tuned for that next week, and thanks for being here.